We have a God-given immune system, an intelligent immune system that daily protects us from the daily invaders and unseen stealthy pathogens that we don't see. But what happens when our immune system goes awry? When it reacts when it shouldn't? And what ways can we support our immune system and help get it back into balance? Hi, I'm Michelle Tonkin, ND, a naturopathic doctor whose heart is to help others on their journey to abundant health. Thank you for joining me on today's episode on the Healthy Solutions for All YouTube channel, the Autoimmune Challenge, Autoimmune Disorders and Natural Solutions. So what are autoimmune disorders? Well, an autoimmune disorder happens when the body mistakenly attacks itself. Our immune system goes after foreign invaders like bacteria, viruses to protect itself. However, when someone has an autoimmune condition, the body actually mistakes its own cells as foreign ones and starts to attack itself. For instance, it will attack the joints or skin tissue or even a particular organ, like in the case of diabetes, or in the case of lupus, which can affect the entire body. So why do people get autoimmune disorders? Well, most doctors aren't sure exactly of the answer to this issue, but they do believe that genetics may play a role, as some of these disease processes can run in families. And here's a quote from Healthline.com. According to a 2014 study, women get autoimmune diseases at a rate of about 2 to 1 compared to men, which is 6.4% of women versus 2.7% of men. Often disease starts during a woman's childbearing years, and they're saying about ages 15 to 44. Researchers are also suspecting that due to how autoimmune disorders are actually seen to be on the rise, that this could be part of an environmental issue, like chemicals and things that we see in our air and pollutants in our environment and actually the food we eat. Also, our Western diet of fast food and processed and man-made sugars can also be partly to blame, as this particular diet sets us up for disease processes and inflammation. It also doesn't provide the body with the proper nutrients it needs to maintain a healthy immune system and response. And then remember, about 80% of our immune system lies in our gut health. So if we're not supplying our body with the proper nutrients that it needs, then our gut is not going to be as healthy as it should, and that opens us up to autoimmune issues, as our gut is part of our immune system and one of the biggest parts of our immune system actually. Their possible theory rests in something called hygiene hypothesis, and this is another quote by Healthline.com. It says about a 2015 study focused on another theory called the hygiene hypothesis. Because of vaccines and antiseptics, children today aren't exposed to as many germs as they were in the past. The lack of exposure could make their immune system prone to overreact to harmless substances. So what are some common autoimmune symptoms? Well, the early symptoms of many autoimmune disease symptoms are very similar, and they can start with things like fatigue, achy muscles, low-grade fever, numbness, hair loss, skin rashes, etc. However, different diseases have their own unique set of symptoms. For example, in diabetes, you could have extreme thirst or weight loss, fatigue, whereas in the case of like RA or eczema, someone may have joint issues or flare-up with their skin. This is all due to an overactive autoimmune response from the body. So we're going to go through 14 of the most common autoimmune diseases. There are actually about 80 different types of autoimmune disorders, and this particular list is from Healthline.com. I'm just going to go through a few little verbiage about each one, and you'll see on the screen about each one. So diabetes, type 1 diabetes, produces the hormone insulin, which helps, of course, regulate sugar levels. But in this case, when it has an autoimmune issue, the immune system actually attacks and destroys the insulin-producing cells in the pancreas, which can lead to high blood sugar levels and can lead to damage in the body. Then you have RA, rheumatoid arthritis. This immune system response actually attacks the joints and can cause soreness and redness and warmth and stiffness in joints. And unlike osteoarthritis, RA can actually start as early as people in their 30s or sooner. Then you have a condition known as psoriasis or psoriatic arthritis. This happens when the skin cells that normally grow, they actually grow too quickly, so they multiply too fast, and the extra cells build up and form these inflamed red patches, and commonly also with silver or white scales of plaque that form on the skin. Now, up to 30% of people with psoriasis also develop things like swelling and stiffness and pain in their joints, and this form of disease is called psoriatic arthritis. Then we have a condition known as MS, multiple sclerosis, which actually damages the myelin sheath, which is a protective coating that surrounds the nerve cells and our CNS, or central nervous system. Damage to the sheath actually slows the transmission of messages from your brain and spinal cord to the rest of your body. And this damage can result in symptoms like numbness, weakness, balance issues, trouble walking, and disease comes in different forms that progress at different rates. It's known that about 50% of people with MS need help walking within 15 years after the disease process starts. Then you have something known as SLE, systematic lupus. In the 1800s, doctors thought basically that it was a skin disease because of the rash that it commonly produces. But this is actually a systemic form, and which is the most common, and actually affects many organs like the joints, the kidneys, the brain, the heart. Some of the most common symptoms of this disease process are things like joint pain, fatigue, and rashes. Then we have inflammatory bowel disease, known as IBD. It's used as a term to describe conditions that inflame the intestinal lining of the intestinal wall. And each type of IBD actually affects a different part of the GI tract. Something like Crohn's disease can inflame any part of the GI from the mouth to the anus, and ulcerative colitis usually only inflames the lining of the large intestine and the rectum. Then we have Addison's disease. Addison's, of course, affects the adrenal glands. These glands produce hormones like cortisol and aldosterone and androgen hormones. Having too little of cortisol can affect the way the body uses carbohydrates and sugar. Deficiencies of aldosterone can lead to sodium loss and excess potassium in the bloodstream. And symptoms can include weakness, fatigue, weight loss, and low blood sugar. Another disease process is called Graves' disease. And this disease process, it actually attacks the thyroid gland in the neck, causing it to produce too many hormones. Thyroid hormones actually help the body's energy process known as metabolism. And having too many hormones can rev up your body's activities, causing symptoms like nervousness, a fast heartbeat, heat intolerance, and weight loss. Another potential symptom could be bulging eyes. It happens to about 30% of those who have Graves' disease. Okay, now we have something called Sjögren's syndrome. And this condition attacks the glands that actually provide lubrication to the eyes and mouth. The hallmark symptoms of Sjögren's syndrome, of course, are dry eyes and dry mouth, but it can also affect the joints or the skin. Then we have Hashimoto's thyroiditis. In Hashimoto's thyroiditis, the thyroid hormone production slows. Symptoms can include weight gain, sensitivity to cold, fatigue, hair loss, and swelling of the throat, known as a goiter. Next, we have myasthenia gravis. Myasthenia gravis affects the nerve impulses that help the brain control the muscles. When the communication from the nerves to the muscles is impaired, signals can't direct the muscles to contract. The most common symptom is muscle weakness that gets worse with activity and improves with rest. Okay, now we're going to go to something called autoimmune vasculitis. Autoimmune vasculitis happens when the immune system actually attacks blood vessels. The inflammation that results narrows the arteries and veins, allowing less blood to flow through them, and that is called autoimmune vasculitis. Then we have a condition called pernicious anemia. This is actually a condition that causes deficiency of protein made by the stomach lining cells, which is known as intrinsic factor, that is needed in order for the small intestine to absorb vitamin B12 from food. Without enough vitamin B12, one can develop something known as anemia, and the body's ability for proper DNA synthesis will be altered. So pernicious anemia is more common in older adults. According to a 2012 study, it affects actually 0.1% of people in general, but nearly 2% of people over the age of 60. Lastly, we're going to talk about something called celiac disease. People with celiac disease can't eat foods that contain gluten, which is a protein found in wheat, rye, and other grain products. When gluten is in the small intestine, the immune system will attack that part of the gastrointestinal tract and will cause inflammation. And there was actually a study done in 2015 that showed about 1% of people in the United States actually have true celiac disease. However, there are much larger numbers of those who have a gluten sensitivity, which is not considered an autoimmune disorder in itself, but can have very similar GI symptoms consisting of diarrhea, abdominal pain, bloating, and nausea, etc. So how are autoimmune diseases normally treated? Well, in Western medicine, treatments are sought to control the autoimmune response from the immune system and to bring down inflammation and pain and to help bring an overactive immune system under control. Usually, Western medicine prescribes things like NSAIDs, like ibuprofen, Motrin Advil, naproxen, or immune-suppressing drugs like different types of steroids, inhibitors, biologics, or antibodies. So today we're going to be dealing with what are some natural solutions to actually help bring our bodies back into balance when we have an overactive immune system. Now, in naturopathic medicine, doctors are actually taught to look at the body as a whole and complete unit, where each part affects the other. Because of this, when someone is dealing with an autoimmune condition, the condition of the entire body must be taken into account. So to enable the body to heal itself, we have to take a few things into account. First, we look at detoxification. Now, toxins are everywhere and they can accumulate anywhere in the body, and they are one of the major culprits responsible for illness, as continual improper elimination of toxins or toxin buildup can contribute to or cause many disease processes. Cleansing the body of these toxins actually enables the body to achieve health and return to a normal state of functioning. So detoxification is very essential, especially in those with autoimmune disorders, as the burden from accumulated toxins can overwhelm the liver or other main detoxification pathways, and this hinders the body from its ability to actually rid itself of a vast array of pathogens. One of the best ways to help detoxify your body is actually cleansing the colon. The colon, of course, we talked about how our gut is responsible for about 80% of our immune system, and we got to keep our body clean. So if the colon is not healthy, we are hit with a double whammy, okay? The organ that is responsible for detoxification needs to be detoxified itself. Constipation, diarrhea, IBS, and many other bowel disorders have their root in an unhealthy intestinal terrain. It is also important that along with the colon, the rest of the body's detoxification systems are cleaned. And of course, when we are surrounded by all the preservatives, chemicals, pesticides, water and air pollution, our body's detoxification systems are continually being put to the test. Our body's detoxification systems are made up of the liver, the kidneys, the bowels, the skin, spleen, and lymphatic system. Their job is to help eliminate toxins that we're exposed to and intake on a daily basis. In order to keep these systems functioning at their best, it's essential that we actually support these systems with cleansing periodically and healthy living habits. And I'm just going to go through very quickly about the 10 ways to support the body's natural elimination of toxins. First, of course, is eating a diet that is balanced in quality proteins, complex carbohydrates, and good fats. So this is known as a whole foods-based diet. And as you can see, a whole foods-based diet consists of the following foods on the screen. Next, you want to drink water. A lot of people are very chronically dehydrated, and this can have a negative impact on long-term health. The body actually is comprised of about 60% of water, and water lubricates our body, dilutes and flushes out toxins, transport nutrients, helps to regulate our body temperature. And we should be drinking about half our body's weight in ounces of water every day. So if you weigh about 120 pounds, you need to drink about 60 ounces of water, or about 7 to 8 ounces glasses of water, 64 ounces of water a day. So water is very important, and it's good that also that you make sure that the water you're getting is a filtered water. You don't want to be putting more toxins or contaminants or chemicals or heavy metals back into your body. Next, you want to make sure that you're cleansing your bowels regularly. You can use herbs or other natural colon cleansers. as needed. Some people do a cleansing every few months, like every quarter, so to speak. For 1 or 2 weeks, they'll use things like a magnesium oxide or other herbs. You can also use things as needed if you're experiencing constipation, like a natural aloe will help to rid the body of constipation if you on an occasional basis. I don't usually recommend senna, but as needed, smooth move can be also used. And sometimes people even need something called colonic. And colonic is basically a machine that puts water into the intestine and helps flush out old built up fecal matter. And the kind that we recommend is the Libby. It's the most beneficial, and I believe this one of the safest ways of doing a colonic. I've myself have had many colonics, and this is a system that I recommend. And basically, colonics just help to give your body a little help if you've experienced constipation and other issues for a long period of time, and you have a built up of old stuff in your system that needs to come out. And so people who do the colonics, I usually recommend doing a series of maybe 3 to 6 to start off, and then maybe every once a month or so for a few months as needed to get your body back into balance. But it's not something you want to do on a continual basis, but it's just something to help your body to get moving in the right direction. No pun intended. Next is something called taking clay baths. Now, clay has been around for thousands of years, and it was even used in Jesus' time, and we have the story of Jesus using the mud on the guy's eyes to help him with the blindness that he had. And basically, they believe that particular type of clay was known as bentonite clay. So bentonite clay actually pulls out toxins from the body via the skin, things like heavy metals, pesticides, radiation. And we like the one from Environmedica is one of the ones that we use. And I use it probably when I get my hair done, like a few days after or that day. To remove any, toxic chemicals from that, or if I get my teeth worked on, just when I'm or maybe an occasion if I'm not feeling up to snuff, I'll go ahead and make myself a clay bath because it'll also pull out even old viruses and bacteria from the body. Next, of course, you want to exercise, making sure you exercise at least 3 to 4 times a week, 20, 30 minutes or more. Of course, we know exercise helps the immune system, helps your circulation, helps get rid of toxins, stabilizing our blood sugar, and also helping improve cardiovascular health and improving our bone and joint health and, our health in general. Then, of course, taking supplements, that's going to depend on what your needs are. Everybody is different, but most people need enzymes to help break down the food that they're eating. And you can see from the slide what enzymes are. Also, maybe a good multi from a natural food source. Would also recommend doing whey protein or some type of a protein, like a plant-based protein or whey protein. The 2 types we recommend are the IsaLean whey and also the plant-based version. This is going to help you get that protein you need and the glutathione, which is very essential for helping detoxify the liver. You can also do things like probiotics to help maintain gut health, and also things to help your body's endocrine system. And you can do something like Ionic Supreme, which has adaptogens to help your body deal with stress, or maybe an adrenal bovine supplement to help rebuild the adrenal glands. It just depends on what kind of things you need for your body. Then you consider massage therapy, chiropractic, acupuncture. These are all great modalities to help bring your body back into balance, help you deal with stress. Drinking a green drink every day. These are natural food formulas made from plants. They help detoxify the body, are great for blood cleansers, and supply your body with a lot of essential nutrients like vitamins and minerals, things like iron and natural food source. Of course, getting sleep is very important, and we know that if we don't sleep, our bodies aren't able to detoxify and heal and regenerate like they should. And so if you're having issues with sleep, make sure that you aren't taking caffeine too late in the day. Maybe you need some supplements to help balance your body out nutritionally. Maybe you need more activity. Maybe you're not drinking enough water. All these things will help get your body back into sleep. Lastly, having a positive outlook. Negative emotions really put a big havoc on our body and stress our body out. And constant stress can deplete our adrenal glands and can make us fatigued and tired. So having a positive outlook really goes a long way. And I've talked about this before, but Dr. Emoto actually did studies on water and the vibrations of water and what would happen if you spoke negative things over one glass of water and positive things over another glass of water. And the water that he spoke positive things over looked like a perfect snowflake, and the water he spoke negative things over looked polluted, dirty. And remember, our body is about 60% or more water. So when we're speaking negative things of ourselves, when we're thinking constant negative things of ourselves, it really does have an effect on our body, as the Bible says that we are what we think. So it's very important that we not only take care of ourselves physically, but emotionally and spiritually, and because we are physical, emotional, and spiritual beings, and so we got to take that into account as well. Something important to note, and I'll just put this up here on the screen. Sometimes when you're cleansing, you can have something called a Herxheimer or detox reaction. And this is just basically the body's way of eliminating toxins from the body. They're usually temporary and they go away. But they can happen. So just be aware that this is a possibility. But if you go slow, you should be okay. Next, you want to strengthen the immune system. Now, unfortunately, with people, a lot of autoimmune issues, and I see these type of clients a lot of times in my practice, they have underlying chronic infections. And when you have underlying chronic infections, if it's a virus or bacteria or a fungus or parasite, it can affect the immune system. A lot of times these infections will become dormant, so they'll hide the immune system until a trauma or stress or some type of event in your life when the immune system collapses and these things come out of hiding, and all of a sudden you have all these issues. Well, the thing is, you always had these bugs, so to speak, in your system. They were just waiting for an opportune time to come out when your immune system was weak. And so it's really important that we take care of different types of infections. So things like Banderol, and I'll just put up these little slides here so you can see the different properties these contain. Collidial Silver, Cumanda, Colostrum, olive leaf extract, Samento, and Takuna. Okay, these are all have different properties in them, and I'll show you a few slides of each one on here, as you saw. But they each have their own thing that they do. Banderol, of course, is a great all-around antimicrobial. Collidial Silver is great as against viruses and bacteria and fungus. Cumanda is really great against candida and different types of funguses. Colostrum actually is an immune-supporting supplement and also helps heal the gut. And then olive leaf extract is great as an antiviral, antifungal, antiparasitical, anti-inflammatory. Samento is great for gut issues, and people use it a lot of times with Lyme disease. And Takuna is a very strong natural antiviral, and it's great against a lot of different types of viruses, from HPV to Epstein-Barr, cytomegalo, those type of things. So each one plays an important part in helping eliminate bugs from our system. And it just depends on what you're dealing with, which one you would need and for how long a period of time. So let me pull this down. So then we want to talk about, lastly, healing modalities. Okay, this is number 3. And we want to look at some things called Ondamed Biofeedback. So this is something I use in my practice. I've actually used it for myself for many years. And Ondamed actually stands for the German word sound wave. So it uses sound wave, and some sound waves, and actually something known as PEMF, pulse electromagnetic frequencies, to help heal the body. So it uses something called biofeedback, and biofeedback, in this particular case, uses the patient's pulse to determine what frequencies is needed to treat the body. So to give you just an example, as I'm scrolling through frequencies, the pulse will raise in intensity, not rate, and I'll be able to select from that what frequency causes the most pulse change. And so from that, I go ahead and enter in the frequencies the body needs and then look it up on the book. So different people have different issues. Even goes back into issues that may have been in the way past, even things that happened in childhood or even at birth, old injuries, old addictions, maybe things, old traumas. It actually helps the body to heal from things like viruses and bacteria and injuries. And so it does all this using sound waves and the PEMF technology. So if you want to learn more about that, you can go to that link on this screen. You can see ondamed.net. And it's just a great machine I've been using for many years. Next is Ionic foot baths. These have been around for decades. And basically it uses both positive and negative ions during a treatment. And basically ions are charged atoms that either have gained or lost electrons. So this sets up a magnetic field that's able to either attract or neutralize oppositely charged particles. So basically it helps to detoxify the body by allowing the body to release unwanted toxic material regardless of the electrical charge that toxin may hold. So it detoxifies through a process called osmosis. Basically the body uptakes this energy and then releases the toxins through the feet. And average treatment takes about 23 minutes per person, per session. And during this time, the water may change colors. Some of the water changes could be, of course, due to the natural elements found in the water. And it's estimated about 50% are actually from the body releasing toxins. So I've actually done this on people who were like mechanics, and I could actually smell the oil coming out of their body. So the body holds on to toxins, and one of the keys here of helping the body heal from autoimmune is decreasing that toxin count, getting rid of bugs, and of course supporting the body with nutrients. Then we want to look at something called Derma Ray jade therapy. Basically, Derma Ray uses something a high frequency light, or something known as a cold laser. It also uses ozone. And you can read more about this on the screen here. But basically what it does is help open the lymphatics. And the lymph nodes are responsible part of the immune system, but they also help transport nutrients, and also they help with fluid. So a lot of people with lymphedema, or they have fluid retention, maybe have pain, inflammation in their body, just helps to unblock those lymph nodes and help the body to have better circulation, getting rid of old lymphatic waste, which some disease process like Lyme bacteria can feed on. So it just helps to encourage detoxification in the body. Lastly, vitamin and mineral IVs. This depends on what you have going on. But if you're having issues with absorbing vitamins and minerals, and you can't absorb through your gut very well, you can get these to help get them straight into your body. Vitamins and B vitamins and minerals and vitamin C, and just to help your immune system, because especially if you have gut issues and you're not absorbing, this can be very effective and very helpful in helping your body to heal. So those are the main things I suggest for people when they're dealing with autoimmune disorders. Is first, you want to go ahead and help your body detoxify. Then you want to go ahead and support your body with nutrients that it needs to support the immune system, like the enzymes, the probiotics, colostrum, adrenal support. Of course, taking things to help deal with any type of old bugs, like viral, bacterial, or fungal. And then lastly, using alternative therapies to help heal and detoxify the body at the cell level. So these are all things that you can do naturally to help put your body back into balance. And of course, when you're dealing with autoimmune disorder, remember that your immune system is dysfunctioning for a reason. You're having issues because there is an imbalance somewhere. So by dealing with a lot of the most commonly found causes for autoimmune dysfunction, which is either toxicity in the body, or bugs, or nutrient deficiencies, or even alternative therapies. It really helps to help your immune system to become more balanced and to help you with whatever autoimmune disorder you might be dealing with. So this is in no way telling you this is going to completely reverse your autoimmune dysfunction, but it can definitely help you and help you have a more abundant, healthy life, and perhaps even not having to use so many drugs, but be able to do more natural things and to help your system overall. So just look at these recommendations, and I'll have some links on the YouTube channel for all these supplements that I suggest, and also some different therapies. Check them out, see if it might benefit you or maybe a loved one. And I hope that you guys had got a lot of great information today that you can use to help yourselves. Feel free to share this video with anyone you think might be in need of it or might help them. I know this is a little bit different type of program that we did today instead of our normal program. But you know what? I just feel like this is going to help a lot of people. So again, feel free to subscribe, like, comment, and share this video with people. Let people know that there's things they can do to help their bodies. And even if you don't have an autoimmune disorder, this is going to benefit anyone. And it's going to help prevent disease process in your body. It's going to help because it's supporting the immune system. And whenever you help support your body, it just helps your body to function better and helps you to feel better. So no matter what you're dealing with an autoimmune, or if you're healthy, you just want to help stay healthy, or maybe you have something else going on, these recommendations can help anybody, and just at least to improve their health. And so I hope this benefits you guys today. May the Lord bless you, keep you, and make his face shine upon you. And until next time.